Yes.
I was worried about state night.
And they always
Another
say.
clock, I give the authority, you need all
Do that one. Is that one?
Everyone have mics on?
That's good.
Okay. All right, we'll rise for the pledge. Pledge allegiance
To the flag of the United States of America, and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Heavenly Father, please stand. Heavenly Father, we give thanks for this democracy alive in our country and for the freedom to worship you. Help the elected government and all in positions of power and authority to govern wisely and for the common good of all. Amen. Please keep standing for a moment. I'd like to ask for a moment of silence for June McCosey. Tom McCosey's mom recently passed. June was a huge supporter of this whole area, Clifton Heights and other boroughs. Thank you.
First, we have citizens participation. Anyone who would like to make a comment about an agenda item may approach, give your name and address, and you have.
You're the last one to come in.
All right. Next, I would like a motion to approve the minutes for the December 19th council meeting.
I'd like to make a motion to approve the meeting from December 19th.
Bruce Fagioli made the motion. Do I have a second?
Second.
John Gorman gives a second.
Just all in favor.
Okay, all in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Anyone opposed?
Check on that one.
All right. So we need to approve the minutes.
If you have them, you may, yes.
Okay. Also would like a motion to approve the minutes of the reorganization meeting from January 2nd, 2024.
So moved.
Okay, John Cannon made the motion. Do I have a second?
Second.
Mr. Braun, a second. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Moving on, we have reports from borough officers, financial advisors report. Ms. Economides, do you have?
Thank you. In front of you guys have two types of reports. You have one that goes through the end of the year with the old budget, and you got one going from January 1st to today with the new budget in there. If you have any questions, I'm here to answer them.
Any questions for the financial advisor? A motion to accept the financial advisor's report and pay the bills.
I'll make that motion to accept.
Destiny Borelli made the motion. Do I have a second?
I'll second.
Harris Resnick, a Second, a roll call vote. Mr. Resnick,
Yes.
Mr. Braun,
Yes.
Chair votes yes. Ms. Borelli,
Yes.
Mr. Gorman,
Yes.
Mr. Cannon,
Yes.
Mr. Swan,
Yes.
Mr. Fagioli.
Yes.
All right. Motion carried. Next up, the police chief's report.
I have nothing to report other than my written report, but I would like to, on behalf of the Clifton Heights Police Department, thank Councilman Braun, who provided us lunch last week during Law Enforcement Appreciation Week. It was very nice and well received. Thank you very much. Thank you.
Is there a motion to accept the police chief's report?
I will so move.
All right, Mr. Resnick made the motion. Do I have a second?
I'll second it.
And Mr. Fagioli gives us a second. All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Any opposed? All right, next up is the fire chief's report. Chief, do you have anything?
Nothing to add.
All right, thank you. A motion to accept the fire chief's report.
I'll make that motion.
Mr. Fagioli made the motion, Mr. Resnick second. All those in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? All right, thank you. Next up is the engineer's report. Mr. Kelly?
Thank you, Madam President. Just a few things to bring to your attention. I will have the county aid resolutions ready for next month's meeting and ready for your consideration. That's for the road program. County aid's a portion of the funding, which is issued through the county each year. For the closeout of this year, once we receive the copies of checks paid to the contractor, we'll submit the PennDOT closeout documents. The passive park improvements, as we discussed last month, Matthews Construction was the lowest bidder. Since then, they informed us that they had a problem with their bid. We informed them that we would recommend that this bid is rejected and awarded to the next lowest bidder. We're in the process of vetting the next lowest bidder, which is Delaware Environmental Construction Services. I have no experience with them, so we're going to take a hard look at them. I expect to have that ready for your our recommendation to council at the February meeting. And lastly, not all my reports, just as a heads up, the sewer cleaning contractor, ADU Services, is expected to start sometime this week. Now, I don't know if he will with the weather, but it was slated to start this week for sewer cleaning. Once we do know, we will let the borough manager know and keep everyone informed.
JP, that's our third quarter?
Correct. Yes, it's a 4-year project.
Right, this is our third year.
Yes.
Okay.
Yes. And that's all I have.
Any questions for Mr. Kelly? Seeing none, I'll take a motion to accept the engineer's report.
So moved.
All right, Mr. Borman made the motion. Do I have a second?
I'll second.
Mr. Resnick, second. All those in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? All right, motion carried. Next, we have the solicitor's report. Mr. McLean?
Thank you, Madam President. Just a couple of informational items. We do have on February the 1st, 2024, a hearing or trial before Judge Bradley of Delaware County Court of Common Pleas. And this relates to the litigation involving the county health department and various boroughs and townships. These matters really have all been consolidated at this point. And in essence, it breaks down to who has jurisdiction to perform local food inspections. We have not begun as the 2024 inspections as of yet, awaiting the court's decision. There was a hearing that was scheduled in December that didn't proceed forward. The county asked that it be put off again. It was continued to a date certain of February the 1st, although Judge Bradley did enter a temporary order enjoining the county from performing food inspections until the time of the hearing in this matter. So that's been I know an issue that's confused some of our businesses. We've tried best to communicate to them on that. So hopefully sometime after February 1st, sometime soon after February 1st, we'll have kind of at least the end of the first phase of that. Again, not to step on Mr. Gould's toes at all, but I know we have had a couple of enforcement actions that we participated in The property owner in the first block of, it's 9 to 11 and 15 to 17 East Baltimore Avenue. Whereas generally we like the idea that he's made improvements to the outside. It's the old sewing machine set of stores. A lot of that was done without permits, without zoning. So we've been working with the property owner to try to get him to get plans done, get everything into the borough, have inspections performed, and just generally do some planning for that area. So it started off a little bit difficult with him. Lately, it's been much more cooperative. I think he finally sees that the borough is, wants to have him as a businessman, and we just really need him to follow the steps that everybody else does. So I know that's been something that has been discussed by the council in the past. And then the other action items, I don't have any action items for council's attention this evening. I have been able to work with Mr. McCosy on the couple items under the manager's report, so happy to answer any questions there.
Okay. Any questions for the solicitor? Okay, seeing none.
John, just to be clear, we're holding off on sending the letters for the health inspections after, we're prepared after the February 1st. We're not issuing any letters out.
I think so.
Yeah, I mean,
I
it's just,
think-
we're so close. It's just
Yeah.
not, I don't want to confuse the business owners anymore in case something goes upside down.
Correct. I mean, I think, again, you don't know what a court's ruling, but when he issues a temporary order telling county, don't do it, it's probably a pretty good indication about what he may be thinking. But just so as not to confuse any more confusion, we're only talking about a few weeks. I would just leave it as
Yeah,
as
I
is.
agree.
All right. Any additional questions? I'll entertain a motion to accept the solicitor's report.
So moved.
Okay, Mr. Gorman made the motion. Do I have a second?
Second.
All right, Mr. Cannon, second. All those in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Next up is community development and code enforcement. Mr. Gould?
Thank you, Madam President. In front of you have two reports. One is for December 2023. The other one is for the year 2023 and all of our department totals for the year. The one item I would just like to publicly highlight here is Code Enforcement Officer Wesley Haddon has resigned his position to take a full-time law enforcement position. So I just want to publicly thank him for his time and dedication here at the borough. He served us well, and I certainly appreciate the time he put in. That's all I have.
Any questions for Mr. Gould? I'll entertain a motion to accept the community development and code enforcement report.
I will so move.
All right, Mr. Resnick made the motion.
I second.
Mr. Swan seconds it. All those in favor?
Well,
Any opposed? All right, next we have the manager's report.
thank you, Chairman. I have just two quick housekeeping. As a result of the reorganization, just want to advise that all, thanks to Stella and our staff here, all our bank accounts have the proper signators assigned to them, which is the president, which was approved, which is the president, the vice president, and the treasurer, are now on the signatures of all bank accounts and checking accounts. So that's that housekeeping order is out of the way. And secondly, we did sign an agreement with the water company today that basically says that the hydrant that the fire department, I talked to the fire marshal today, the hydrant that we're moving on the north side to the south side of Sycamore, is that we will continue to pay the annual fee for that hydrant. So things are moving along with the water company. The other two new hydrants, Chief, have not come through yet. All right, so. Then on the first item on the actual printed out agenda is the first step in the actual trash waste contract. So we have a resolution to approve a budget adjustment to transfer $203,886 from our sanitation fund balance to the 2024 sanitation line item of waste management and recycling fee, and adjust the 2024 refuse disposal and collection fee to the amount of $319 for each single-family dwelling in each unit of every apartment dwelling or multi-family dwelling collected by the borough. There's a resolution that John prepared today. I don't know if John wants to further explain why that mechanism needs to take place before we get into approving the trash contract.
So, Madam President and Council and Mayor, what we're proposing to do is two things here as a result of a couple of items. Number one, we received the trash bids that came in, and as we've talked about in prior meetings, we did expect that the value, the dollar value would go up, and we expected even to go up significantly. And, these surpassed our expectations. But, we do recall that this past contract was a 5-year contract. So, well, the last time it was bid, these were 2019 fuel prices. Fuel has increased significantly since 2019. As well as other inflationary measures like labor, insurance, and also the tipping fees that are charged by the Delaware County Solid Waste Authority have gone up precipitously during the 5-year period. So with the trash bin and with the anticipation, I think that we have not received what the increase is going to be from the Solid Waste Authority as of yet. But, just based on what we hear, again, it could be significant. There was a need for additional revenue beyond what was budgeted and adopted at the December meeting. So the proposal is to transfer, right now, the sanitation fund balance is a little over $600,000. So to take approximately a third of that, $203,886 from the sanitation fund balance, and transfer that into the operating account for this year, as well as adjust the 2024 refuse disposal and collection fee to the amount of $319 for each single-family dwelling in each unit of every multifamily dwelling that the borough collects. So that works out to be about $1 a week in terms of what that fee represents, the adjustment. So with those two, that's sort of the proposal is a balance of a use of some of the savings as well as an adjustment to the fee, gets us to where we would be. And then it's just sort of coordinated to that. If council approves that, the second matter would be approval of the trash fee. You'll hear from Mr. McCosy, but as you'll hear, the recommendation is for a year. That would be done with the hope that this year fuel prices perhaps will begin to come down a little bit. We've seen a little bit of a decrease so far in late 2023, 2024. The actions of the Federal Reserve in not raising interest rates, what they're projecting at this point in time, gives us the hope that interest rates may decline and inflation may somewhat decline in 2024. So the idea would be that we would put it back out to bid at the end of this year, and hopefully with those costs going down, that may be reflective in what any 2025 or thereafter bid would look like. So that's a explanation of those two items.
Fortunately, to pick up on what John said, we went over this with the finances pretty deep. We knew going into it that we had a reserve. We did not reflect that, just so council understands. It was a projected. We did not put any money in addition to what we had in the line item because the bids were on the street. So I didn't want to, it's kind of like poker. You don't want to put out how much money you're willing to pay in a line item because they have access to it. So the reserve was there. We knew it was going to go up. Like John said, we knew it was going to go up. We just, recycling's killing us. It's $196,000 that we didn't pay last year. That alone is almost, 3/4 of the increase here. And like I did mention, I'll bring that up under the trash contract, but I think this is a good fiscally sound move that leaves us with a pretty significant fund balance still and doesn't really impact it. We don't want to come back later on, like I said, and hit somebody with $110 increase next year. That was all.
Any additional questions on this item, Mr. Hammond?
because of what council did in the past, we had a $203,000 surplus that we were able to transfer
Yep.
to alleviate some of the extra expenses that we're going to have to cover. My question is, would it behoove us to maybe try to recover some of that? Because if we don't have a balance next year at this time, when we renew the contract, then we might have to really look at a significant raise if the trash fees, either from the county or from the collectors, go higher. So what I'm asking is, could we maybe consider trying to replace that sanitation fund balance somewhat at this time to alleviate possible problems, or would it not be feasible?
Okay, well, let me just make sure we're clear when we're speaking about the fund balance. So the fund balance after this $203,000 transfer, if I'm correct, I don't have my notes in front of me, but I believe we'd have $470,000 still in the fund balance.
You answered it.
Yeah, we don't want to deplete that all the way. And remember, how that gets built up is we go after previous years. There's some people out there that do owe us a lot of money. And either Jane on the first year or reporting off with the company we have collects all the fees and all. So we can go back as far as, so I've seen as many 5 years people haven't paid trash. We may end up with a windfall. So I'm like you. I don't want to go down where we're in trouble. So I think this is a fair assessment between not impacting some of the seniors out there, using some of the fiscally conservative money we've saved. And like if you had a
That was
bad
my
week.
concern, that we didn't have.
Yeah,
more
maybe I
money
wasn't
in
clear
fund
enough.
balance
That's,
in case
yeah.
we needed it.
I think with all the numbers floating around last week,
Thank you.
it kind of helped us out to focus on it. Thank you.
Any other questions? All right, so I'll entertain a motion on a resolution to modify the 2024 budget of the Borough of Clifton Heights by authorizing the transfer of funds from the sanitation fund balance to the sanitation fund waste management and recycling fee budget line, and further authorize the modification of the 2024 refuse disposal and collection fee.
So moved.
All right, Mr. Cannon made the motion. Do I have a second?
I'll second it.
Um, Okay, Mr. Gorman, second. We'll do a roll call vote. Mr. Resnick,
Yes.
Mr. Braun,
Yes.
Chair votes yes. Ms. Borelli?
Yes.
Mr. Gorman,
Yes.
Mr. Cannon,
Yes.
Mr. Swan?
Yes.
Mr. Fagioli?
Yes.
All right, motion carried.
The next item, Madam Chairman, is the approval of the trash contract with Creative Waste Solutions LLC, 409 Oak Lane, Oldham, PA, for the year 2024 at the amount of $411,493 for the trash and $196,623 for the recycling. That company's trading under the Creative Waste Solutions, but it's actually, as we all know, it's B&L who does all our trash there. Since I've been here for 3 years, in the beginning, trash was one of my biggest nightmares. Phone calls every day, and a lot of conversations with himself, the owner. He has done significant improvements on some of the truck maintenance, and as well as some of his manpower. He's up some of his hourly rates, which obviously is reflected in the bid. But that being said, I think it's a very reputable company, local, not driving in from miles away to be able to service us on days like today. First thing this morning, first thing I saw coming down Oak Avenue, looking down, was a trash truck. So weather impending and everything else, he is doing a good job. I think he's caught up in some of the things that John talked about, inflation and other, like any other business, the rising cost of goods and supplies and manpower. And I think I have no reservations recommending the 1-year contract. I believe, if I'm correct, the solicitor and both JP who wrote the spec, if I read it correctly, we do have an option. If there is a good number and we feel that things are going up, we can go to year 2 and 3.
Correct. That's the way the contract's written.
Okay.
You have the option for year 2 and 3.
But this specifically is year 2024 for $411,493 and $196,623 for the recycling.
Any questions?
Yeah, I'd just like to make a statement on it. I know when these guys came in and did the work, and he had problems with his trucks, they would break down and wouldn't be able to make all the collection stuff. But since then, for the last, I guess, year and a half or something like that, yes, his men are better and the trucks are a lot better now that he's using. I just want to bring that across.
Thank you. Any other questions or comments? Mr. Cannon?
Just one more comment, since we're live streaming and there are residents here. All of us can help out with the cost of waste removal by trying our best to keep the trash dry. We're paying for rainwater. The tipping fees have gone up significantly from the county. So we want to do that. And especially with E-Trade today, I noticed how much cardboard is in the recycling. And now we're paying for recycling, where in the past we received money for it. So if we can encourage the residents to keep the best they can, keep their trash dry, it will significantly help the borough.
True.
Thank you, Mr. Cannon. Anything else? All right, I'll entertain a motion for the approval of a one-year trash contract with Creative Waste Solutions LLC for the year 2024, $411,493 for trash and $196,623 for recycling.
I will so move.
All right, Mr. Resnick made the motion. Do I have a second?
Second.
Mr. Braun, second. We'll do a roll call vote. Mr. Resnick?
Yes.
Mr. Braun? Chair votes yes. Ms. Borelli?
Yes.
Mr. Gorman?
Yes.
Mr. Cannon?
Yes.
Mr. Schwab?
Yes.
Mr. Fagioli?
Yes.
All right, motion carried. Next up is council reports. We'll start with the first ward. Mr. Swan, do you have anything for us?
All I have is just to thank the James Salmon and his group for getting out there in this weather yesterday and today and preparing us for this mess.
Mhm.
That's all I have.
Thank you. Mr. Resnick?
Nothing else to report.
Second ward, Mr. Fagioli?
It's the same thing that Rich said. Thanks for the guys doing the job. Well done.
Mr. Cannon?
I think we'd be remiss in not mentioning that JP and Bruce and myself looked at the Diamond Street Park for the new pavilion that's going to be installed. There could be some other plans in the future for the borough residents to have a nicer park than what it is now. We discussed things. Of course, that will take money, and that's another issue. But in the time being, we will be having a pavilion up at Diamond Street Park, thanks to action the council took last year. And it's going to be very nice for the residents. And it will connect down to eventually where the pickleball courts are. So it'll be a nice open space for the borough residents.
Thank you. Third ward, Mr. Braun?
I have nothing.
Okay. Ms. Borelli?
Nothing.
Okay. I too would like to thank James and Jimmy, emergency management, and then our fire and police department for being available both with this storm as well as the flooding rains that we had the week before. So thank you. That's all I have. Mr. Gorman?
I'd just like to echo Mrs. Britta's comments and then remind everybody that the sidewalks have to be cleared within 24 hours. We don't need to be sending EMS up there for somebody with a fracture or something like that.
Thank you, Mr. Gorman. Mr. Mayor? Do you have the mayor's report?
Thank you, Madam President. Just a couple things for tonight. Just a little reminder, PAL signups are Friday, the 19th, 2024, in January. We do have an e-cycling and shredding, January the 27th, right here at the Borough parking lot from 9 a.m. to 12. Also want to thank the Borough employees for the snow removal. And I also want to thank the Chief of Police and the Borough Manager. Those two guys get together long before the snow actually hits the ground. So, and then when it does hit the ground, they're all out there and they're checking streets and they're informing me and they're informing council. So it's not, we wake up in the morning and then the streets are clear. It's not by accident. So that's due to the chief of police and the borough manager. Excellent job on snow removal. I work in 5 different boroughs, and I can tell you the other boroughs that I work in are not even close to what Clifton Heights here clears those side streets pretty well. That is it for me, Madam President. Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. Old business, do we have any old business?
I have one. Any update on the highway negotiations or anything?
Yeah, so council is aware, highway negotiations are currently, it's 8:35. We have met with our solicitor. They've met with their solicitor. We have some dates coming up on coordinating some dates. Actually, one was this week, but we missed it, obviously. So I talked to James this morning. We're going to coordinate dates. We don't really see, one of the efforts that we both sides have done is that contract rolled over from the old trash contract. So there's a lot of language in there that we're working on to clear up some things that are in the trash department that aren't really in the highway department. So we want to have the language really clear that, when we're talking about overtime or snow, it's snow, not picking up trash, those kind of just little language things. So we did that with the police contract and it worked out really well. It's just, history has it, it just goes on and on, but we want to spend the right time and, obviously everyone respects the employees and we'll make sure that we'll be back to you with what we believe is a fair contract.
All right, thank you. Any other old business? Any new business?
On that highway thing.
I have a question for Tom.
Yeah.
Have you been across the Lindbergh Bridge lately?
I have. If it's about the painting and the conditions, JP and I have sent notices to the county. I'm at least 3 in with the condition of it. We did have an emergency review of a crack that somebody identified, and that turned out to be a unique. It wasn't a stress crack. It was a hairline. It still sounds like a crack to me, but I'm not an engineer. But anyway, the actual poles and all that we've asked, and we'll continue. The only thing I could think of is maybe because of the weather they got caught up, but it's some significant spalling on the. Just looks bad. I agree with you. So I'll follow up again and with the county and see what I can get done.
Thanks.
Tom, the other thing is just summer help, which is too far away.
April's usually when we submit applications for summer help.
Okay.
If you have them now, we'll take them because we weren't as successful last year. We ended up with 2, but we prefer to have more. We're paying one of the highest rates for summer help in the surrounding areas, but we'll see if kids want to work. It's a good job. It's 7-8 weeks, I think it is. Roughly, yeah, about roughly 8 weeks. And we could use them this year because we are going to take the landscaping contract and back off of an outside vendor to save some money, offset some of his trash issues. James and Jimmy have a good program. We don't have the fields anymore, which takes a big burden off of them. So we can knock that out if we have a couple of kids that would really help us out.
Think we get in touch with Williamson Trade School if they have landscaping business?
Yeah, we usually put it out to the schools. We put it out, we've had success and sometimes I've seen them show up and then I've seen them work a day and then I've seen them not show up. I think it's a generational thing now. I don't want to sound like my father, but I think we're having some work ethic problems, if that's polite to say.
Any other items? All right, and then we have public participation. If anyone has any comments, we have a 3-minute time. Just come up with your name.
You're not gonna get old fashioned.
And address.
I'll be here for about an hour. No, I know I got 3 minutes. I already got the timer on. Basically,
Okay, can
I
have your
didn't
name and
come to the
address,
meeting tonight. I did not come to the
Name and
meeting
address,
tonight.
sir?
Oh, Michael F. Humphreys, 35 Arch Street, Clifton Heights, Pennsylvania, in the 2nd Ward. Okay. All right. Basically, I came here tonight. The audio visual worked fabulous tonight. I was sitting over at the Legion and me and John were sitting there and we watched the whole beginning of the meeting. We could hear every one of yous. You also all look wonderful on TV. You know, maybe you'll get an Emmy. All right. And the road crew, there's a kudos that goes out to them today. My new next door neighbor connected to me. He came out today and was stunned because he moved from Fishtown in Philly and the street was plowed. Couldn't believe it, you know, so, you know, to the road crew that, and, you know, basically that's it. I did it under a minute. Thanks.
Thank you. Thanks. Sir.
Anyone else?
Thanks, Mike, left the light on. So hi, I'm Mary Doherty, 324 Prospect Avenue, Clifton Heights. Wanted just to reiterate what John Cannon was saying about the recycling. What I've developed a habit of doing is when it's a heavy rain, I don't put the recycling out. So like we missed recycling the Wednesday after Christmas and the Wednesday after New Year's, of course. I was aware of the schedule. Some of the people on my street were not, but that's another story. Anyway, so then came the Wednesday, yeah, I can recycle. And that was the very heavy rain. So, you know, I'm looking forward to tomorrow. The other thing is that with regard to some of the information of this meeting, is it possible to see some of the reports? Like I haven't looked online. For example, Chief Rockenbach said, you know, he had nothing to add besides the written report that you all saw. Is that available online?
We don't post the pre-agenda. We post the agenda, not the
reports.
the reports.
Okay.
The reports have to be approved by council, then they're put up.
Oh, so they're put up afterwards?
No,
Cool.
this meeting's put up now.
Yes.
Part of the meeting. I don't.
No,
we
what
don't-
I mean is.
No.
the-
Internal documents, right?
Clarify, I don't know that the chief's written report
Uh-huh.
is posted online. I know during the workshop meeting or the caucus meeting, he'll give a report then.
Right.
They'll talk about it. There may be additional written information. The police chief's, not to get too far in the weeds, police chief's report might be a little bit different because there may be things in there that are not subject to open records.
Mhm.
But, you know, some of the other reports are subject to open records.
Okay, so, but there might be perhaps online some kind of verbal summary that, or summary of the discussion or something, you know, whether it be the police chief report or others. And as you said, if it's not, you know, if it's open records thing, that there might be a written report that's there, you know.
Yeah, for the written reports, I'll just take for instance, like Mr. Gould's written report. I would imagine that most, if not all of that, would be subject to the open records laws. And so
Right.
you'd be able to obtain a copy of that. The chief's is a little bit different because of police investigative
Sure.
matters.
Oh, yeah.
But otherwise, many times, the key points are discussed at the workshop or caucus meetings. And then it's in there. But I mean, that's something to look at in the future. We just got everything up and running, you know, so.
One step at a time.
Yeah, that's right.
We're getting there. Okay, thank you.
Thank you.
You're okay.
Anybody else for public participation? No? Okay, I'll entertain a motion to adjourn.
I'll make the motion to adjourn.
All right,
I'll second.
all right, thank you.
You're good.
Lady catch up with everything. You too.
What's that?
Stay on birthday, so doing everything with your mom. I know it's tough.
Really?
Especially with Kelly.
Yeah, Kelly's here.
Kathleen.
Hi.
Oh, yeah.